Welcome back, everyone, and we got What If back today after a couple day break for doing some career videos for Duncan Keith and Brian Marchman. We are back with a What If, and it's a big one, the 2012 What If. It's one of those years that a lot can change. It's not like 2010 where it's pretty much inevitable the Hawks win the cup. So this was the first time this ever happened in a series. The first 5 games of the series all went to overtime. Coyotes win Game 1, Hawks win Game 2, Coyotes win Game 3, Game 4, Hawks win Game 5, Coyotes shut them out in Game 6 in Chicago. Chicago didn't win a game at home in the series. Chicago this season, it was a weird season, as the home team hardly won anything, usually, and the lower seeds seemed to be winning more, and there was only one team from the Pacific Division in the playoffs. That was Vancouver, and they'd won the President's Trophy. The next 5 teams were the next 4 teams in the West were besides because Phoenix was the best team in the Southeast. But even though the Hawks were the 6th seed, Phoenix was the 3rd. Chicago had a better record than Phoenix, so Phoenix really shouldn't have been playing there. But since that. But anyway, then it really went Vancouver, the 4 Central teams, and then 3 Pacific teams. It was really weird how that worked. But Hawks were actually expected to beat Phoenix in this series, and they did not. But we're going to say they do. So Martin Hansel gets the game winner in Game 1 of this series. We're going to say he doesn't. 3-2 OT win for Chicago in Phoenix. They win Game 2 as well, so they're up 2-0. And you can see where this is going. Hawks had also late comebacks in every single one of these games. These first 4 games, the Hawks except Game 3, I'm pretty sure games 1, 2, 4, and 5, they all scored a goal in the final 2 minutes of the game to tie the game. So, yeah, you have Brian Bickle get the winner here. Mikhail Bodger got both OT winners in this game, and you could see that Phoenix only won by scores of 3-2 in overtime, so that was really strange as well. It was a very weird series. And, so yeah, Martin Hansel gets the winner there. We're going to say he doesn't. We're going to say Andrew Brunette, since he was on that team, gets the winner. Why? I'm feeling it. Game 2, of course, they win. It's Bickle. Game 3, Mikhail Bodker. Let's change it up. Let's go for Brendan Morrison, who was also on that team, as the Hawks are now up 3-0 against Phoenix. Because Phoenix goes on a run to the conference final this year. And, sorry about that. And so, yeah, Brendan Morrison, we're going to say, gets the winner in Game 3 for Chicago. And then Game 4. You have a lot of choices here. Mikhail Bodker gets the OT winner for Phoenix again. You know what? No. We're going to say that I don't know. It's kind of like pick a name. We're going to say, who is an obscure player on that team? We can say that, you know what? We're going to go Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane gets the OT winner in this game. And the Hawks sweep the Coyotes, meaning the Tays winner here isn't needed. And the 4-0 win never happens. So you know what? We're just going to say Chicago wins this series 5-0, because why the heck not? So yeah, in round 2, for the 3rd year in a row, they face the Nashville Predators, because the Kings still beat the Canucks, so the Hawks are not the lowest seed, so the Kings are, so they'll play the number 2 ranked St. Louis Blues. And St. Louis beat San Jose that year, so it would be St. Louis and LA, that's the highest versus the lowest, and then Nashville beat Detroit, Chicago beat Phoenix, so that would work. So Nashville, we're going to say this series, the Nashville was already going, they were already starting to go downhill. Ryan Suter was gone the next year, and Nashville bottomed out the next year. They got Seth Jones because of them bottoming out, basically. And so yeah, at this point they're going lower. I'm pretty sure they only had one or 2 more points than the Hawks that year in the season. So we're going to say Chicago wins this series. It's still Barry Trotz coached, but for the 3rd straight year, wins in 6. Actually, I'm pretty sure I had them winning in 7 last time, but you know what? Wins in 6. And I have a feeling that Patrick Kane. Sorry about that, but yeah, I'm feeling that Patrick Kane here is a monster series, and I've lost my pen. There's my pen. So Patrick Kane has a monster series, and I feel like this, I feel like we might be able to see Bickle come into his own a bit earlier, because Bickle in 2013, he was incredible. And then he was also pretty good in 2014. 15 already started to slow down because of MS. That's the disease he has. And it's like multiple sclerosis. It's got something to do with, I believe it's like just weakening, deteriorating like bones. It's painful. But yeah. So after the Predators, the Kings, who will have just swept the St. Louis Blues, well, that's who they'll meet in the conference final. And what do people remember about this run? There's a reason Jonathan Quick won the Conn Smythe. He was incredible and he stood on his head. Chicago, however, is a different beast. Chicago knows what it's like to win at this point. Doesn't know. Vancouver, St. Louis, San Jose, any team that's been played, they don't know what it's like to win. At that point, Detroit was the only team, and they were going downhill pretty fast. So, LA. Jonathan Quick is still a beast. However, the LA-Chicago rivalry starts here instead of 2013, and it's hard to not say that Chicago... I have a really hard time thinking about it because I think of how easily in 2013 Chicago beat LA, but then LA is similar to Vancouver in the way they don't know how to close out series as something that Chicago was good at. They would, if they got down in a series, they'd fight back. If they had the chance to close out a series, they would. Like if you look at just the series they had, they did it against Vancouver in 2009. They did it against Calgary in 2009. Detroit, they never got a chance. 2010, they did it against Nashville. They did it against Vancouver again. Almost, they let one game go, but that's the only game they let go. Philadelphia, they had San Jose, they swept. 2011, they fought back from 3-0 down against Vancouver. In this what-if scenario, they beat Nashville, they beat San Jose again. They lose to Boston, but that Boston was inevitable. And this year, they beat the Coyotes in 4 straight. Nashville, they beat in 6, probably the same way. LA, even though Jonathan Quick's a beast, I'm going to say Chicago wins that series in 7 games. And if you're an LA fan, believe me, it is hard as hell, but I spend like actual time planning in my head what I'm going to say sometimes before these videos, especially in LA. This series was possibly the hardest one to come up with because I genuinely did not know who would win. So that's a feature that NHL 22 needs to add. They need to add like how in NBA you can go back and play every year's teams. Like you can play with the 97 Bulls, the 98 Bulls, the 99 Bulls, 2000 Bulls, 2005 Washington Wizards, whatever. And NHL needs to do that. It's going to increase the game's gigabyte size on Xbox by a huge amount. But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it to go back and play as those old teams. Maybe do a playoff bracket with like all the salary cap playoff teams of the era and just put them against each other. Just that would be something cool to do. But yeah, I'm going to say Chicago beats LA in 7. The rivalry starts here. And it wouldn't be the last time they'll beat LA. So, in the final, what does LA do? So, we're going to talk about LA for a second. LA, I just mentioned how the Hawks can close out series. LA did not really have that. They were up 3-0 against Vancouver in round 1. They lost Game 4. They win Game 5. They were up 3-0 against St. Louis in the round 2. They did sweep them. That was the only series they finished it. And against Phoenix, they're up 3-0 for the 3rd straight time. And guess what? They lose Game 4. They win Game 5. But against New Jersey in the final, they win games 1 through 3. They lose games 5 and 6 to go back to games 4 and 5 to go back to LA. They win in Game 6. But Brodeur nearly had his 4th cup right there. But Chicago against New Jersey, I don't think this would be a close series. I mean, Brodeur would give it his all, Kovalchuk would be prominent, but Chicago's star power and just the only thing maybe New Jersey had was goaltending, but even then Brodeur was slowing down. It's 2012. He's no longer his Vezina performance he was putting on in the 2000s. He's on the decline of his career, and that's why I think Chicago wins the cup this year in 5 games. And I'm going to say the scores are, I'm going to say New Jersey wins Game 1 by a score of 3-2, but then we're going to go, because Chicago has home ice advantage. Wait, they both were 6 seeds, but I think Chicago had better points, so I think they would have home ice advantage. So we're going to say New Jersey wins 3-2, but the Hawks win 5-1, 6-3, 3-2, 3-1 and 4-2 to take the cup in 5 games, winning it at home in Chicago. And you could add that to the timeline now that 2012 they win cup. So now, like LA did in the real life timeline in 2012 and 2014, LA, just like Chicago, would have won 2 cups in 3 years, been to the final in 4 straight years, which is already incredible. And truly wondrous how stuff works like this. If some overtime games could go right, imagine just how it could work. Of course, we'll never know. Until NHL, and the closest we'll get to that is NHL doing what I said and playing back like all the teams from like you could do like the 2012 Hawks versus the 2012 Coyotes and see how that goes. Because like that's the one thing I do like about the NBA video games. Other than that, not much. But yeah, that's really it I have. I mean, 2012 is a very strange year, and it's probably just made even stranger by this development. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Free agency is tomorrow, so whether free agency is going to be a big prominent for the Hawks, I'll probably wait a few days to do a video on free agency to see who they sign, because they have to sign some people because I have no players. And, yeah, that's really it. Raquel signs in Pittsburgh for 6 more years. Pretty much all the signings people already know about. If you look on Instagram, follow a bunch of accounts that do that. NHL.com, and just the news in general. Steve Dangle podcast. Matt Murray traded to Toronto. Can't wait to see that. And if they lose in round 1 again, I don't think it'll be that. Toronto's not really a worse team by adding Matt Murray. Their goaltending was fringe anyway. Campbell was good, he was, but it's good. That's not the goaltending's not the reason they lost the series against Tampa. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys in this one. Probably going to be 2013 What If tomorrow. It'd probably just be it's going to be like 2010, a quicker version of their cup run. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.